you. Have a good night. All right. Welcome back to a brand new video of the Target Individual Program. Target Individual Experience. Oh shoot, is that my bus? That might be my bus. Let me see if I can catch it. She walked with her elbow sticking out. I'm sticking mine out too. Hold that door, hold that door, hold that door. Hold the door, hold the door. Thank you.
Take your time. All the way?
Yeah, almost all the way.
Detroit?
Yeah. Sure.
This is Rutland, right? This is Rutland? This is Rutland. Because this says restaurant right now, right?
No, don't pay that.
Okay. So this is Rutland? Okay. All right, thank you.
I'll show you guys what she's doing. Right? That's so slick. And I'm explaining to you guys exactly what it is that he's doing. Yeah.
Got off early.
Huh?
Got off early.
I hear you.
Got off early.
Who got off early? You got off early? Oh, her. Oh. No, I'm just saying, you know, she got like putting her phone like towards me, and she got like personal information on her phone. Like, I'm like, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm just like, you know, because normally people don't hold their phone up like that, right? So you gotta understand human behavior. When people do shit like that, it's because, you know, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why are you holding stuff in front of me that got your personal information on it? You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit don't make no sense. Like, come on now. You know, you gotta understand how some people's minds are conditioned. You know, a lot of us don't think. We just do things because our subconscious programming. You know, what people don't know is that your subconscious will also drive your behavior, right? So you always got, if you don't have a consciousness to understand how your subconscious mind work or how the subconscious mind work, then, you know, your programming gonna work against you. And when I say programming, we like to believe that we can't be programmed, but, you know,
We can.
the brain is a computer, right?
Pretty much.
See, people get hypnotized, they get, you know, brainwashed.
What you doing now is what you're programmed to do.
Exactly. You know, different culture.
You know what I mean?
But here in the West, how we're programmed as black people is not good. You know, we're programmed with a self-hatred, hatred of ourselves, hatred of each other. You know, we try to be everything else except for who we truly are because we don't know who we truly are. You know?
Look at the Spanish. They come here and all of them will live in one house.
Yeah.
Buy one till everybody got their own.
Yeah. Yeah, but here's the thing with that though. Because you see, when they come here at a very later age, right? They're not coming here when they're young. And on top of that, their community is more about family, right? We were once about family, you know, but, you know, there's been an orchestrated plan to, you know, dissolve our family. You know what I'm saying? So people gotta understand that. You know, you from Jamaica?
Yeah.
All right. So look, Jamaica's the perfect example, right? And I keep telling people, particularly, you know, you had like the Foundation of Americans. They'll talk about drug dealers in Jamaica. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, they try to make it seem like in the black community in America, the drug dealers are only Jamaican. You know? So,
I agree with what you said because I remember I was coming across the border about 12 years ago in Canada.
yeah.
I used to see the license plate on top of the Jamaican flag license plate on it.
Yeah.
And he was really a white man, and he was really military. And he said,
Right.
we don't do that.
Right.
But in the military, we said, don't do that.
But you see, here's the
He said
thing.
the same thing. He said they associate Jamaicans.
Right.
And he said, you don't get pulled over.
But here,
More than the
right.
African.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Jamaicans are those who do that are a very tiny percentage, like very, very small. You understand what I'm saying? When you look at who the biggest drug dealers are, the drugs kingpin, there is no Jamaican as a drug kingpin, none whatsoever. You understand? What white supremacist does is that it puts people against each other, right? So if you look at, yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is that there are groups of people that they're going to pit other people against, and you need to understand why. See, Jamaica was one of the islands in which you had people that rebel against the British Empire. Okay? Just like Haiti. Right. So the two nations in which the people who come from a line of warriors, you understand, they got to suppress you. And how do they do that? Right? Yeah, I have to turn my phone down.
They did that in, what do you call it? Senegal and...
Right. So you gotta understand how they understand history and how they understand bloodline and how they can shape people's bloodline going forward, right? So for example, I talk about epigenetics. You know what epigenetics is? Epigenetics is a medical and biological term for traits that you will pass on to your offspring, right? So if you keep people in poverty and in extreme violence, right, when they have offspring, those offspring become adjusted to that. Then as they get older, you keep them in the same condition, they have offspring. Their offspring become even more adjusted. You understand? So in the future, you can create more poverty, more violence, and they'll become well adjusted to it. And they would not fight the system, but they will fight each other, right? So you have to understand how biology is used against us, how environment is used against us, how science is used against us. I'm getting off the next time, right? The next, yeah. How science is used against us, and how technology is used against us. You understand? So I always tell these people, I say, look, there is no kingpin in Jamaica. Where's the drug kingpin in? South America and the U.S. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So you got, and then who is bringing the drugs to the Caribbean? But the CIA. So don't, you know what? You got to take a stand and straighten them out, right? You got to let them know. All right, my brother. Thank you. Anyway, yeah, you see these people coming on the bus? They're like coming in there now with like some, you know, with like personal identification card, you know, like personal, like they personal, you know, they're as you look, I'm looking at the speaker. What speaker here? It was a gray vehicle, and right. I keep telling you, sometimes when they get me fixated on certain things, I gotta see what's up. So what's this vehicle says? L66 VKG. Right? So you know, they'll try to, I keep saying, you know, black people, we gotta understand how they pacify us. Right? How, you know, I talk about Haiti and Jamaica. These are the two islands that, you know, you had enslaved people who were rebelling. They were rebelling because, you know why? This is where the majority of the warrior class Africans went, right? This is the where they send the majority of the warrior class. Haiti was the first to rebel. You know, Jamaican were constantly warring with the British. And so what do? You have to breed out that warrior class mindset in their DNA, right? There's a reason why Jamaica and Haiti in the Caribbean are two countries that are in, you know, in terms of the condition of the people, right, and how it is, right? Jamaicans feel a little bit better, You know, Jamaica created music. Like I said, as black people, we are very creative. You know, we are very creative, right? But don't get it twisted, because some of those warrior class came to the Americas. They went to Brazil, where else? Colombia. They went to Mexico, and so forth. Look. Look at the NY Predators Department. Hold up. Look at them. They got nothing better to do, right? Oh, that's the same. It's the same vehicle too. License plate 4446. Right, 4446. Yeah, okay. Let me tell you. But this is what they do, and because, like I said, they have to keep us as believers. This is why, you know, in the fields in which people need to advance in a society, you know, black people, we're in the single digits. Okay. So if 4% of the population of 4% of psychiatrists in America are black, right? Who do we go to when we have issues that we need to talk about? We go to other groups of people, and those other groups of people cannot self-identify with us. You know, yeah, they may be able to give us some good advice, but there's certain nuances that a black psychiatrist, a black therapist will know that they don't. And not to say that they can't learn it, but they don't want to, or they can't. Right? They don't want to, or they can't, because they don't care. But black therapists, black psychologists will learn about people's culture in order to be better therapists. You understand what I'm saying? There's a difference, right? Because that's who we are as a people. When I talk about black male teachers, there's a black male teacher that became the teacher of the year. And I want to say congrats to my brother. But I'm not surprised, because the data and the evidence shows you that black male teachers, when it comes to teaching in the classroom, all children do better, but especially black children. Because why? Because the male teacher becomes like the surrogate dad in the school. He keeps those children in check, right? More than anybody. And then also, you got white students, Hispanic students, Asian students. They do better in the classroom. So black male teachers are needed. You know, they understand the data, what it says, that black male teacher provide a better outcome in terms of when their children is in the classroom. Those children go home and do their homework. Those children come to school on time, right? You know what I'm saying? And those male teachers have interaction with the students, you know, on a more relatable level, okay? They don't just crack jokes, you know, but they actually share a genuine concern, right? And that's not to say that, you know, other groups of teachers can't do it. You want to go behind me if you don't want to get on the camera? You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Yeah. So they know that black male teachers are the number one when it comes to children doing better in school, particularly black children. So we need more male teachers. It's a reason why they got rid of the black male teachers in the classroom. Like you're saying, we are fighting a war in which we do not understand. We are fighting a war in which we cannot understand because we want to believe. We still don't think that the people who moved into our community, right, who will call the cops on us because we're barbecuing outside, okay, you know what I'm saying? That the reason why they're moving because they truly want to live amongst us. No, they don't. It is called displacement. They are going to displace us. And you need to understand that. You need to understand, like you said, you know, white people, they think long term. See, we think short term. We think short term because we've been programmed to think short term. We've been programmed not to see the future. We've been programmed not to have any insight. And once you don't have insight, you will never have foresight. Because to have insight means to have an understanding of the things that's going on around you. So you can plan for the future. See, they have insight and foresight because they're creating the future how they want the future to be created. And that future doesn't include us. That future, whether they're Democrat or conservative. Okay? And we need to understand that. So going forward, we have to be awakened. We have to understand what's going on. right? Because what do you think the whole microchipping thing is about? You can go back to the 1970s, right? And because we don't quite, they get the middle finger. They get the middle finger. New York Predator Department. New York Predator Department. They get the middle finger. Right? This is the type of thing that they do. No concern that there are children, babies sleeping. Right? None whatsoever. They understand the danger of noise and it being weaponized, what it can do. But you see, the other groups don't care because, their future is set, right? I mean, particularly white people. I keep saying it'll be $84 trillion transferred to their young people or to their next generation, right? So they know this. They know this. So you see, even though things are happening right now, they know that money is there. That money is there and it's coming to them, right? It is our people that don't understand this. It is our people who are being conditioned to wait on God and wait on the Lord, right? Despite the reality, there was a young brother that got killed, and like I said, I always get angry when I hear and read this story. Killed by a crooked cop. Good young man, right? Good young man. Got a picture. He got a cross around his neck, right? And I keep saying, where was Jesus? Where was God? And they'll say, God, no one can question God and such, right? But you question him, right? You scream out, why, Lord? Why did this happen and this and that? Then don't question it. Just say, you know what? It was the Lord's decision, and just let it go, right? If you truly believe that. But you see, like I said, you can go to other nations that don't believe in Christianity. All right, and the things that are happening. Let me give an example. Let me use another European nation, Switzerland. Right, Switzerland is one of the European nations which you have low crime rate, right? And what do the Swedish people do? Right? Not only that, but guess what? Not only do they have maternity leave for mothers, they have maternity leave for fathers, right? And it's not 3 months. Okay? They can take up to a year of maternity leave. Right? They have the better health care, better social safety net program. Right? They no longer prescribe young children antipsychotic drugs, which is a good thing. They try to understand what is causing this by looking at the data and seeing that there's some external forces that are driving up the number of people, young people identifying with mental illness and sexual identity disorder and such. And they realize that they say, hey, these things are a lot of it is based on social contagion. Not all of it, but a lot of it, right? Here in the United States, because these companies are profit driven, right? So when they want to prescribe antipsychotic drug to 4 and 5-year-old, that's madness. That's madness, and no one can say anything. No one says anything, right? And the fact that you have psychiatrists and psychologists making the decision to put children on these types of drugs is ridiculous, and that's why we got to stand up and speak about these things. So when I say these things on my video, I say it because you need to understand that our lives are being destroyed, our children's lives are being destroyed for a bunch of greedy motherfuckers who don't give a shit about us, who don't give a shit about this nation. All they care about is their deep pockets. That's it. They all have bunkers overseas. Okay? When the war that they want to starts, they're leaving America. Right? They're leaving America for their secluded bunkers. That's what they're doing. Right? That's what they're doing. Make no mistake about it, like I said, go and learn history and the mindset of the people who are always in position of power. And even when you have a revolution, somehow they manage to either finance that revolution and put themselves right back in the position that they're in. Why? Because the people are not intelligent enough to understand that those people you cannot continue to put at the top. You know what I'm saying? They need to get rid of everybody in that Congress that is over the age of 70. Okay? Or even 75. They need to get rid of everybody in Congress that's over the age of 70 to 75. How are younger people going to get a chance to be good legislators, to be good leaders, if they're not given those opportunities? If those who are older are so selfish and so greedy and so power hungry that they refuse to leave them to retire and give younger people a chance, or at least bring them up under your wings, train them in politics so that you can retire and know that the person that you put in there is going to do what they need to do. And hopefully they're not going to be in the pockets of corporations, but that's not going to happen. So we need a new party, like I said, Green Party, other political party, and people need to get off these two political plantations. They're not about doing the work for the people. You have a president who we always talk about American concern that Russia is going to have and install a puppet president, right? Well, you have a nation that's supposed to be our ally, not only have a puppet president, but also have the national security interests of this nation in its hand. Can you believe that? Like, who does that? Who does that? So when they want to talk about DEI, these mother effers are the biggest DEI. They're not qualified, they're white, they have money, and they are now in a position of power where they show you that they don't know what the hell they're doing, right? But yet, qualified black people, Hispanic people, women, right, who are qualified to do the job that they're hired for, they're calling them DEI hire, right? And the diversity inclusion doesn't mean that they hire people based on, no, it just means that you give a broader opportunity to other groups of people. And if the best candidate is among those groups, then you hire that person. You know, with all the shit that they talk about the federal government, before all this layoff of the federal employees, 74% of federal workers were white. Do you understand? So they have a number in which they cannot go under in terms of who work within the federal government. And if it goes underneath a certain number, then all of a sudden, all hell catches loose, right? Let me tell you, man, the mental illness that's within white supremacists, that's within white Americans, and you got to go back to their history for you to understand. You have to go back into the history for you to understand. All right? Understand who their ancestors are. They are not the best. They were not the best. They were far from the best. All right? So when you want to know why they can do these things, and when they want to talk about mental illness being hereditary, oh yeah, well, it's passed down to them from their ancestors. All right? Anyhow, talk to you guys in the next video.